Hey everyone, I'm here with Michael. He is the developer behind this game that's playing behind me right now. It is called Windward. It is a procedurally generated sandbox pirate game. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about that and what's going on behind us?
What's going on behind us is pretty much mayhem. This is observer mode, just watching the game as people playing around us. But the game itself is Windward. It is heavily inspired by Sid Meier's Pirates originally. And I liked the game when I was playing Sid Meier's Pirates, that is. And there was a couple of things that I wished were different in the game, and a couple of things that I wish that were there that simply weren't. Like multiplayer, co-op, for example, procedurally generated worlds for replayability, things like that. And I decided to create Windward to implement the things that I wanted to see and things that were missing.
And you mentioned that it's multiplayer and co-op. Are we going to be able to build our own servers to host the game on, and how big are the servers going to be able to be?
The server's limit is pretty much up to the hardware. It's most likely going to be limited by the bandwidth of the person hosting the server. I've hosted servers with several dozen players on it, and it ran really well. It's using pretty much no CPU, barely any RAM. So, like I said, it scales pretty well. It's theoretically possible to have thousands of players, but in reality, it's most likely going to be very limited by the actual hardware of the people playing and how many people are in the same exact region at the same time.
A big draw to this game is how procedurally generated it is. How big do the maps get then? Or is it just infinitely large, you just keep expanding?
No, they're not infinitely large. The map behind us is actually one region, and it's fairly extensive. It provides a complete environment for players to play together or against each other. It's up to how they want. And this is only one of 50 regions that are currently in this world. However, there's also the instance element to the game, where they can actually create their own private regions that are just for them. And they're completely randomly generated, and there are about 4 billion of them or so.
So, man, a big part of this game obviously is also going to be the combat. Why don't you explain a little bit how that works? And I understand there are abilities and upgrades you can get and how those work as well.
There's quite a few upgrades that you can obtain just by gaining experience in the game. Different skills that you can unlock, different specializations even. So like in a typical RPG, you have certain class roles that certain ships are better at. Lighter ships are better at doing damage and getting away quickly, while heavier ships are better at soaking up damage and still standing in the fight. So with that in mind, I actually created specialization roles from the talents themselves. You can go your typical tank, DPS, or healer route, within reason, of course.
What's the teamwork element on? If you're going to be playing with players, what's the kind of team going to be focused around? Is it we can decide for ourselves, or are there specific objectives in the game that we're trying to accomplish?
Specific objectives. Well, this is a sandbox game, so the objectives are pretty much what the player wants them to be. At first, I'm sure they're going to want to conquer their territory around them for their faction, because by default, majority of the world is actually conquered by pirates, and they're not very friendly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and obviously I'm seeing a guard tower behind us getting captured right now. What do the guard towers do, and why do you want to destroy them or capture them, or how does that even work?
It's fairly simple. Guard towers actually protect the area around them. It takes a while to destroy them, as you can see, and generally one-on-one, they are capable of destroying ships. So it's something that you will probably want to bring some friends with, or at least use hit-and-run tactics, playing smart. Guard towers also give you sight of the area around them. So if this was actually playing an actual game instead of just observing, you would see a map that would be partially uncovered due to the guard tower being present.
You're the sole developer of this right now. How long have you been working on it?
Well, the original prototype for the game was actually created in 2012, but I decided to scrap it in August last year and just start from scratch. I kept the models and redid everything else.
I mean, it looks beautiful right now, and I was playing it earlier. It's a really fun game. When can we expect to see it officially released?
Well, it is out in Steam Early Access right now, so people can obtain it and play it. It's missing just a little bit of polish and a couple of things that I still want to add. The rest is really up to the players. If the players say hey, This would be really nice if the game featured something that is not there. I'll consider it if it makes sense, and I have been known to do that. I will just push the release date just a little bit further until it's done.
And how much is it on early access?
It is $15 right now.
All right, and if people want to know more about the game and find you, how can they do that?
Tasharen.com would probably be the best bet. However, if you just search for Windward on Steam, you'll see, well, everything really.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I wish you luck for the game and hope you have a great PAX.